Okay, Ryan, it's the B block, wide receiver breakouts, baby. And you know what? There's a lot of options here, but I think that I'm going to start this thing off with a little bit of a homer pick, a guy that I got to interview in New Orleans at the Super Bowl. Really, really humble, really, really talented, and honestly, not utilized often enough last year. He couldn't be. The situation wasn't right. Rome Odunze, wide receiver, Chicago Bears. The guy can do it all. And I think that with Ben Johnson, he's going to find a way to get this young man the football. There were so many wins. If you go back and look on tape, there were so many wins that Rome Odunze accomplished early and often in downs that went wasted because of either protection issues, quarterback eye issues. Any kind of issue prevented this guy from getting the football. Ben Johnson's attention to the detail, the ability to get his quarterbacks getting rid of the football early bodes well for Rome. Obviously, Colston Loveland is going to be in the building. Cole Kmet is still a guy that's out there on the football field, a big target that will command a second-level defensive presence. DJ Moore is still the physical threat that he always is, big, explosive playmaker. Somebody's going to be in Caleb's vision all the time, and I think it's going to be Rome Odunze. I really do.
I love that. And we spoke to Rome during the combine, and talk about person over player. That dude is as solid as they come based on oh my gosh. And as humble as they would come, and came from that program in Washington where they were sort of upstarts and had that great season where they made it to the title game. And then you watch him play, and it was clear to me that, and I don't give Caleb Williams, I don't care at all that he thought during the pre-draft process that maybe he didn't want to go to Chicago because of the lack of consistency. I mean, Eberflus is gone. Shane Waldron lasted 6 weeks. I think Ben Johnson is going to be a game changer. And my guy but another name was Ricky Pearsall out of San Francisco. But I'm going to piggyback off what you said, because I also listed Luther Burden III.
Yep.
Because Luther Burden III and Rand Carthon and I have talked about this a lot on with the first pick. He is basically, the plan, I would imagine, is to be Ben Johnson's Amon-Ra St. Brown in Detroit. So he probably won't have the numbers that Rome will have, because Rome's got a head start 12 months on him. But I think playing a specific role out of the slot and these runaway routes that Ben Johnson likes to get guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown on, he could cook, because last year in Missouri, Brady Cook was injured, and it was hard to tell whether Luther Burden was good or not. 2023 was a different story. So Luther was my guy. And I think in that offense is going to look completely different. My other guys, I mentioned Ricky Pearsall, obviously he was shot. It's crazy to think he got shot in the chest and he only missed 6 games. And then he came back the final half of the season and if he wasn't dominant, he was pretty close. Debo's gone. Brandon Ayuk's coming off the ACL. He may not be ready to start the season. And just like Ben Johnson, Kyle Shanahan can scheme guys open. And I think that Ricky's going to have a chance to play outside. The way for Ayuk to get back, they obviously have George Kittle. And Brock Purdy just got paid. I think Ricky's going to have a big season. And the things that Kyle has talked about that he looks for are big receivers who can track the ball well, who can get open. He ran in a sub 4.4. The crazy thing about him is that Johnny Wilson, who went to Florida State and was eventually drafted by Debo's Eagles, and Jaden Daniels all played together at Arizona State, and that team stunk. And that's just a testament to Pete Prisco being a terrible person having back.
Yo, that's wild. Pete Prisco slander on here. I love that. Hey, Debo. So for those of you who don't know, Debo is in the truck right now controlling the show. He's pressing all the buttons, making sure that everything's reaching the fine folks out there in the podcast verse. You guys missed on Ricky Pearsall. He had an opportunity to get another white guy in Philadelphia, another exciting white. Well, he ended up in the Bay Area. I love that. And a guy that I am reluctantly going to talk about because he plays for the team up north, the Green Bay Packers, is Jaden Reed. Every week, it felt like last year, I was just hammering Jaden Reed over longest catch props because this guy is so explosive. He has the ability to take the top off the defense. And when that offense figures out how to get a really respectable 2 and 3 option. I mean, they've got a number of guys in Green Bay, but the issue has been there's been no true number 1. Obviously, they got Golden. I think that'll take the attention off of – they got Matthew Golden that's going to take the attention off of Jaden Reed. I think Jordan Love enjoys a whole lot of Jaden Reed this year. I just like the guy. I think he's got electric written all over him, and the more they can get him the football, the better, because he's going to break out this year.
Yeah, and it's funny because Jaden Reed was a second-round pick. Again, he went to Michigan State, and it was hard to tell how good some of these players are because of the quarterback play. It is also funny when you talk to Renner about the Packers and the lack of a true wide receiver. They have like 18 guys who are age 22 to 26 who
They're all pretty good.
They're all pretty good.
Nobody's great.
Right. Christian Watson can't stay healthy. They have a bunch of young tight ends. Jordan Love is, as a Bears fan, you must feel a lot better about Jordan Love being good now that you have Caleb. But were you a little bit concerned when Jordan Love started flashing a little bit?
Hey, look, man, I like any time that a quarterback on any team is playing well because it makes the game that we cover so much more fun. I like that the NFC North became an arms race offensively because it forced the hand of the Chicago Bears to make the right hire and the right draft pick. And they got both of those right, in my opinion. I know there will be naysayers talking about the guy in the capital city, but what are you going to do? Talk to me in 10 years. So, yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Okay, so we got through our receivers here. Let's get to running backs. The first one is a very chalky pick, but I have my own reasoning, all right? Ashton Jeanty, the Las Vegas Raiders. Obviously, if you cut my arm, I bleed silver and black. It's just in me. My old man was a Raider. Chip Kelly is the offensive coordinator. He was fantastic at Oregon with me. Obviously, a real innovator in the offensive system and somebody whose offenses people always associate with being explosive. And he wants to use every inch of the field. But people fail to respect and recognize the great running backs that have been involved in Chip Kelly's system. And I played with a number of them, DeAnthony Thomas, Kenyon Barner, obviously. LeGarrette Blount is a guy that I know really well through my older brother with the Eagles. They won Super Bowls back-to-back years, Eagles and Patriots. They were both on each of those teams. So many great running backs. And I feel like with the tight ends they have, they're going to be in 12 personnel. Geno Smith's ability to throw the ball on third down. They have a good offensive line. They've got a left tackle who can cave in the line of scrimmage in Colton Miller. I think Ashton Jeanty is not only going to be a guy that we say, wow, he was a good rookie. I think we're going to be saying this is one of the best running backs in football immediately with this guy.
Hey, that's interesting that you were with Chip Kelly. I forgot about that. So I think he had just come from UNH and then he went to Oregon.
Yep.
So he was just sort of getting his feet wet into big-time college football at that point and making a name for himself. Let me ask you this, because this is one of the things, and we talked to Ashton Jeanty about this at the Combine, me and Lige did. He stands up. Have you noticed how he stands up? And Chip's trying to change that. Right. He's only 5'8", so he makes himself taller, whatever. Once the ball snapped, he's the best player on the field typically. Chip Kelly is trying to get him to be more traditional in his pre-snap approach to playing running back. Would you mess with that?
I think that stance and start are two of the most important things in football for any position. If Chip Kelly is making a coaching point to Ashton Jeanty, I think it could probably make him a better football player. Okay. I could block anybody in the world in 2015, 2016, 2014, but I could do it better if I was in the right stance. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Like after the snap of the ball, I can go kick anybody's ass, but if I'm in the right stance, I'm really going to catch a case. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want to see from Ashton Jeanty. Can he be better because of the stance? Clearly, you want to see the second level. Yeah. You're 5'8". You want to stand on your tippy toes and see everything. But I can assure you, like, if he wants you to load lower pre-snap, go ahead and do it.
So this isn't a gruff old football coach just telling you things to be telling you things. He's telling you to make you better.
I mean, and I remember when I saw it for the first time watching him last year, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then the very next week after I saw it, Jahmyr Gibbs is in the same stance. Do you remember that? Like, guys, it's a copycat league. So I think it's a swag thing. I think it's a Riz thing. Okay. But like, let's make it a skill set technique thing.
Yeah, I would imagine Chip Kelly cares very little about Riz and swag.
No.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to tell you my guy, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And I actually liked his teammate better coming out. I'm talking about Quinshon Judkins. I like Trevion Henderson a little bit better coming out. They're different type players. You just talk about Jahmyr Gibbs. He's basically the David Montgomery to Trevion's Jahmyr Gibbs when they were at Ohio State. A little more juice. But either way, I think he has a chance to break out because he's going to be in Cleveland, where Nick Chubb is no longer because of injuries. They drafted 2 running backs. They took him 36 overall, and he's going to be in Kevin Stefanski's system. Stefanski likes the zone scheme, and he has a long track record, easy for me to say, new lips, success with the running game. 2019, when he was the OC in Minnesota with our guy Rick Spielman, Dalvin Cook. May have heard of him. He's pretty good. And then 2020 through 2023, either top 3 or better, the Browns were in the run game every single season. 2024, they struggled in part because Kevin was trying to fit that offense around Deshaun Watson and doing the things he wanted to do, no play action, yada, yada, yada. We know how that all turned out. I think there's an opportunity for Quinshawn with whoever the quarterback ends up being, whether it's old Joe Flacco or young Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders. The run game's going to be incredibly important, and I think he's going to take them back to the days of if you get 80% of Nick Chubb, this feels like a grand slam.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And with the instability at the quarterback position in Cleveland and the uncertainty of having Joe Flacco probably be the guy that trots out, is he going to be playing the entire year? You have to stick to your guns as Kevin Stefanski, and you have to have that running game be an integral part of your offense. And I know that the offensive line was great for a number of years. They're not great anymore, so they need to find a way to get their running game better. They add this guy, Quinshawn Judkins, they should be able to get after it immediately.
Hey, can I ask you a quick question, Kyle?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you prefer if you are a member of the Browns offensive line and they're whatever, average, slightly above average, and you're in that offensive line room? Do you prefer 40-year-old Joe Flacco back there as a statue, or a rookie like Dylan or Shadur who sometimes hold the ball too long, sometimes leave the pocket too early on pass plays? Like, what's easier for you?
I'm going to use this as an opportunity to speak highly of Shadur Sanders.
Oh, great.
I like his pocket presence. I like that the play is never dead with him. And with any of these young quarterbacks, they get happy feet and they get out of dodge. They see ghosts, as it were, or they feel something that's not there. There are going to be things there in Cleveland, and you're going to want a guy who is okay with taking a hit and is okay with making the big play in the face of danger. And I think that Shadur Sanders, I'm a big proponent of believing in blood. And I know what his daddy had when it came to crunch time. And if he's got a tenth of what his dad had in toughness and competitive spirit, he's going to be a guy that I would love to block for.
So I asked that because sometimes what happens.
Look, Joe Flacco, the ball is going to be out on time.
Right.
But if we have 2 guys getting beat, 1 guy getting beat on every play, it could be sack, turnover, and it won't be Joe Flacco's fault.
Right.
So give us a guy who can keep the play alive.
Gotcha.
Give us a guy with some juice and some rubber in their body. And I think Shadur and Dylan Gabriel both have that.
So the trade-off is, okay,
because Kenny Pickett's small hands, it's out. You get hit with small hands at quarterback, the ball's coming out.
As a Steelers fan, I'm not a huge Kenny Pickett guy, despite what Terry Bradshaw might say. Somehow that guy won a Super Bowl with Debo's Eagles, but whatever.
Super Bowl champion.
Kenny Pickett. I'll just mention quickly the other guy, Caleb Johnson. I wasn't a huge fan of the draft pick as a Steelers fan, but he went in the 3rd round. Arthur Smith likes to run wide zone. That's what he excels at. He has a chance to be 60% of Le'Veon Bell. Bada bing, bada boom, you move on. Figure out who the quarterback's going to be.
He's kind of jacked. I'm checking out pictures of Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, he's big. He only ran a 4.57, but he's running, one cut and go guy, and he outruns guys down the field. Patient behind the line of scrimmage. He is huge. We're seeing an evolution, not an evolution. It feels like we're seeing a movement away from these bigger backs and more into the sort of Trevion Henderson type players, but he's an exception.
You know what's cool? He doesn't have to change his jersey colors. His parents don't have to change their jersey colors, the things they have in their closet. He played at Iowa. He gets to play for the Steelers. I feel like it's almost primed for a breakout season. Okay. Obviously, I'm going to also name R.J. Harvey because Sean Payton tweeted out a picture of his daughter and R.J. Harvey, and he said, my daughter loves the running back pick, and the tweet got killed on Twitter. But it was a wholesome tweet. Things happen.